Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cool Calm Minds. My name is Tatenda. For the guys that are new to the channel, please know that this is a safe space to talk about mental health, about cricket, about sport, or anything that you may have in store. So, from me to you, thank you so much for always coming through and making sure that every Friday it comes to pass. Anyway, it is Valentine's Day and I'm not wearing red. And someone will ask themselves, why would you not record a video wearing Valentine's? Because it is Valentine's. I'm in South Africa and it's the 14th of February and it's a Friday. And wow, someone will say, thank God it's Friday. The other person will say, oh yes, it's Valentine's. And some of us will be like, do we celebrate Valentine's? But then it is what it is. We're still alive, and that's the good thing. Every opportunity that you get to celebrate love, I believe that is an everyday event. So you don't necessarily have to wait for the 14th of February to love your partner, to love your wife, to love whoever that's around you. Every day is Valentine's, and you need to celebrate love. And when I was at school today, one of the teachers was in charge of Valentine's, and she says, you know that fun fact, love does not start in the heart. Love starts in the brain and it gives you a fuzzy feeling which makes your heart pump faster. That's why we say, oh, you broke my heart. No, they did not break your heart. They just broke the flow of blood from your head to get to your heart so that your heart could pump faster. So love is not from the heart, love is from the head. That's why we say when you're falling in love, go in with your head and not with your heart, because your heart can deceive you. When you get fuzzy feelings, you're like, oh, is it the right one? Is she the right one? Maybe not. But anyway, liking, sharing, and subscribing will be there to ensure that you support us. Being a member as well, you get this video before everyone else does it. And when I go live, you will be one of the first people to do it. And now for a small amount, I think it's around about 40 Rand for the people that are in South Africa and around about $1 something for the people that are outside in the States, and do the exchange rate, so somewhere there. But what it does is it helps us to create more content like this, to sit down here, to have the cameras, to have the lights and everything. It does not come cheap. Even the electricity bill is skyrocketing, and without you guys I cannot do it. So thank you, and thank you to the team as well, to my beautiful wife behind you. Love, happy Valentine's, my baby. You know how much I love you. You know how much I care for you. You know how much you mean to me. And you're always making sure that when I sit here, I look beautiful, babes. It's coming from the bottom of my heart. Now I understand that the voices may be changed, but it's the fuzzy feeling that's coming to my mind and going into my heart and making my blood pump. Wow. So I love you, baby. She says cheesy from behind the camera. Anyway, let's jump into the video today. I saw on my daughter's status, Lou, she posted NGL. I think it's an app or something like that, where you send anonymous messages. And wow, it's fun. I must say I'm enjoying it. Knowing that I don't know who is sending a message, but most of you guys have been putting an sort of a hint of who it is. Dario is one of them. Geza is another one. My brother Tanaka is one of them. And from then, I got another one that says, I've always had a crush on you. And I was like, ooh, I'm married, man. I am married. Not only married, I'm happily married. And the other one says, I always wanted to ask you out, but I never had the guts. I was like, unfortunately, I've been married for almost 12 years now. Is it 12? 10? 10 years. I've known my wife for almost 14 years, and I've been married for almost 10 years, and we're celebrating our 10th next year. So, unfortunately, but not in a bad way. You'll find someone that is just gonna, what's the word, that's going to love you, that's going to respect you and appreciate you. Unfortunately, that someone is not me. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. On Valentine is coming. Where's your girlfriend? Yes. A massive shout out to Morena. On my last video, he said, hi, coach. And I'm so proud of this young man. He's grown. He joined Randburg a few months ago. And not saying that he was not a talented cricketer, but just saying he was a rough diamond. So my boy, to see where you've come up in your cricket with Raptors cricket and Saturday cricket, development cricket, to see where you are, and to even get the guts to go onto your YouTube or your dad's YouTube and say, "Hi coach, it's Morena." Appreciate that. So a massive shout out to Morena for commenting on the last video. You also need to comment so that I can give you a shout out to the next video. And that's how we interact. Over and above the cricket field, we are here and we're saying, "Hey, my boy, how you doing?" So thank you so much. Remember liking, sharing, and subscribing before we jump into tonight's video. It's Valentine's, guys, and the title of today, and I'm going to go to my phone, because this is where you sent it, and it says, "Ask me anything, unfiltered." You guys ask, you ask away, but I'm glad that you're not asking nonsense. It's unfiltered, but you're not asking nonsense because there's kids here, so you can't talk nonsense when around kids. Anyway, thank you so much. Random questions, obviously. So you guys sent out messages on that app. It's called NGL, and I'm not sponsored by them, so I'm not endorsing them in any way. But sending messages anonymously, I don't have to know who you are. And I hope, however I answer it, it's gonna feel like, oh, this is what you meant. This was me. This was that. I don't even want to know who you were, but I know that you're going to find relevance in me answering as authentically as much as I possibly can. Right? First question. Personal and reflective. What's a life lesson you wish you learned earlier in life? What's a life lesson that I wish I would listen more? I wish I would listen to understand, not listen to respond. There's so much importance in that, because when you're listening to understand, you then get where the person is coming from and not what you think or where you think they're coming from. So I wish I'd learned that in my early years. Maybe I would be far. But now, in the same breath, if I say I would be far, would I still be married to my beautiful wife, though? I don't think so. Because this girl loved me knowing that I was full of nonsense. I was listening to respond. So, on a serious note, as a person, learn to listen more than talking. Learn to listen to understand. Before you rush into thinking that someone is attacking you, understand where they're coming from, negative or positive feedback. And my wife actually said the same thing to me. Not the same thing to me. She gave me that sort of idea when she said, when we are recording Faith Foundations, "Babes, whenever you're talking to the camera, now I don't know what to do with my life." So I'm like, oh, I understand where she's coming from. It's a podcast. So if I'm talking with a guest, let all the attention be to the guest. And then we'll come back to you and tell you to like, share, and subscribe. Then we'll come back to you and we'll ask you if you've got a question after the episode. So I listened to understand, and she was right. My beautiful wife was right. So that's the life lesson that I had. Thank you so much. That's a good question. Question number 2. How do you personally deal with stress and mental health struggles? My wife. I was at a point where I would get stressed for next month before next month comes. Where I'm like, what if I'm not able to pay the rent? What if I'm not be able to afford the groceries? What if I'm not going to have a client for next month? What if? And it got to a point where even right now we are busy planning a tour out of the country for cricket. And I'm thinking, I'm getting monies from sponsors. What if we don't proceed and get a full team in? And immediately I'm thinking, it's not my problem to stress about that. I left it in God's hands. So my mechanism now is my wife telling me, "Love, you don't have to stress." So the more that she's been saying that, the more it's now starting to make sense. And then when the Bible says, "Lean not on your own understanding," I'm taking it literally. Do not lean on your own understanding. So when I trust God, that God, you are the one that said, and I said this prayer before we did the tour. I said, "Lord, if this tour is not supposed to happen because you don't want it to happen, I will not receive a single sponsor." And right now where we're standing, we've got 5 sponsors that are lined up. 2 have come through and 3 are still coming through. So is that 3? 3 came through and 2 are still coming. So if that is not a sign from God, what else do I need? If you are saying you're letting God handle all your pressures or all your stresses, then you go around again and say, yo, I'm stressed. Am I going to make this? Then you're screwing up your own mental health and you're screwing up your own peace. For no reason again. And the thing is still going to happen. Because for as long as the times that I was stressed about whether or not we're going to be able to pay rent or to pay our bills, we've never skipped. So you realize that I was stressing for nothing. Zero, 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 zero. So my mechanism now is my wife always constantly in my ear saying, love, don't stress. And God saying, Lord, you've got this. So whenever I feel like I'm stressed, whenever I feel like things are not balancing, I just leave it to God and say, Lord, you know. Done. So that's it. Those are really good questions. I didn't know you guys are this mature. That's so demure. I don't even know why I said demure. I don't even know what it means. Let me know in the comment section if you know. Question number 3. What's the best advice you've ever received? Whew. Best advice is believe that you are as big as you think you are. Believe that your vision is as big and great as you think it is. Because a lot of times we think about things, but we really don't believe that we've got the capacity to see them through. We don't think that we've got the capacity to make it a reality. And I have got an example. My sister, Sharon, in Pretoria, she wanted to start a hairstyling school. And we helped her with the designs for the website. We helped her with the flyers to hand out for marketing. We helped her with how things were going to be structured. And she got people that were interested and keen on orientation. And just before she could set up a date to say, okay, orientation starts on a Monday, she then pulled away, got cold feet, and said, no, it was too big, bigger than I imagined. And that was my advice that I got, that sometimes, or all the time rather, you are as good as you think you are. It's the people around you that sort of make you feel like, do you really think that you can make a company out of this? Do you really think that you can make a brand out of what you're doing? Do you really think that this podcast is going to be something big? Do you really think that this marriage is going to defeat all odds? Yes, it can. And that's the best advice that I ever got. And I'm like, up to now, I'm giving it to you as well. You are as big as you think you are. You are as great as you think you are. Just believe in yourself, and putting down that vision board, it helps you as well, because you know that this is where I want to be. I may not be there, I may not know the way to get there, but I am going to get there. This is where I want to be. And I'm seeing that vision sort of come to pass, even with my cricket academy, even with the podcast that we are doing. I can see that, this is what I had in mind. It did not make sense for the first 5 years, but this is where it's going. Wow, God, amazing. That's the advice. Question number 5. This is random and fun. If you could have dinner with 3 historical figures, who would they be? 3 historical figures. Probably Einstein has to be one of them. Purely because, everyone knows Albert Einstein is the guru for brains. He's dead. Historical figures. My wife is busy here saying he's dead. Yeah, it's historical figures, and Albert Einstein will be one of them. 2, it's a weird one. But I would love to have dinner with Hitler. Adolf Hitler. Yes, it sounds like it's a weird one, but I just wanted to get into the mind of someone that was so idiotic and amazing in his idiotic nature. Not amazing in the fact that he killed people, but what was going through his mind to be such a leader, to help people, or to not to help people, to lead people into doing such catastrophic acts and still be feared like that. Surely there was good in him as a leader, because people followed him. But also just to try and understand what was the thought process, who was he as a kid, what went wrong as a kid, parents and whatnot. Number 3 would be Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, purely because I want to know the meetings that happened back doors, the meetings that happened behind closed doors. Exactly what was the thought process, because it's one thing to forgive, but then forgiveness is influenced by the people that are around you. And the people that were around Nelson Mandela at the time, I don't think they saw eye to eye with what he said or what he did, his acts. So I want to understand him. Did he then defy what his advisors were saying? Because surely his advisors were angry at what had happened with apartheid and all that. So just to try and figure out, if they were not happy, did he go against their advice? And if they were not happy, how did he convince them to then take up this forgiveness part? You get where I'm coming from? See what happens in here? Like, pew, right? Erin once said, dude, how did you think of, when last did you dream in your own language? Do you dream in English, right, by the way? Or you dream in your own language? Because I don't remember the last time that I dreamt in Shona. I don't think so. But anyway, I stand to be corrected. And the question to you now is, when last did you dream in your home language? Or you're dreaming in English? Yay! All right. What's the most bizarre fact that you know? The most bizarre fact that you know is that your heart is the size of your fist. My wife is like, what? I did not know that. So this fist, don't know if it's focused. This fist, that's how big your heart is. Yeah. So if you're a 2-month-old, obviously the fist is smaller. But the human heart, we're talking about Valentine's. The human heart is the size of your fist. Ha! I know she's gonna come back and say, "What, love? That was beautiful." Question number 6: would you rather have unlimited time or unlimited money? Definitely unlimited time, because the more time that I've got, the more time I've got to make money. The more opportunity that I've got to make money. Moving on to faith and purpose. How has your faith shaped your journey so far? Oh, how has my faith shaped my journey so far? That's a beautiful question. If it wasn't for my faith, I wouldn't be where I am. And I've got a live example from literally 8 years ago. I don't want to go deep down. I want to go as close as possible. I still remember 9th of October, I landed in South Africa. And I went to stay with my brother-in-law in Pretoria, and he was working for a steel manufacturing industry. And I still remember he got me that job, and it was a night shift job. Come back in the morning after work. It was hard. It was freaking hard. Come back from there, then he says, we're sitting down under the tree, because in Pretoria it's very hot. So we're sitting under a shade before we can go in and sleep, because you sleep. Okay, you finish work at 6 o'clock, it's still a little bit cooler, so you sleep up to probably 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, then it's too hot inside, so you have to go outside and just sit in the shade. So we're sitting down, then he says, "Ow, Spar, Tsano, how was work?" And I'm like, this is hard. I don't see myself working in this environment in the next 5 years. And his response was a laughter. It's like, I've been in this industry for 21 years, and we make it work. Yes, I started where you are, but where I am right now is because you just keep on persevering, keep on pushing. And I'm like, yeah, good for you. But I do not see myself in the next 5 years. And fast track, this is where I am. I'm married to a beautiful woman. We've got our own place to stay. We've got our own car to drive. We've got our own boy we're raising. And he was in the papers, by the way. Look at this. This is amazing, isn't it? Amazing, huh? And to see that from your child is just testament of the faith that we've put in from the get-go. And I still remember when I met my wife, I was in Norway. For lack of a better term, I was broke. And I still remember she then says later on that when you are dating someone that is not working, because my question to her was, why would you not give up on me because I was not bringing an income? And she says, it's one thing for someone to not bring an income. It's another thing when you're seeing that that person is not even trying. Now, I could see from where you spoke, how you spoke, what you wanted to do with your life. I could see that this man one day is going to be big. And guess what? Mama, I made it. I'm big, mate. I am big. I'm super big. I'm the best businessman. I'm the best coach in town. I am the best husband ever. I'm the best dad ever. I'm the best man of God ever. I'm the best podcaster ever. My podcast is the best in the world. Come on. So, if it wasn't for faith, I would not be where I am. Look at my wife smiling behind the camera. They just, man, I love it. I love it. If you don't see it, oh, it's on you, mate. But yeah. Anyway, so that's what faith has done. So I'm challenging you with your faith as well. Do the same. Just believe God. Like I said earlier, that you are as big as you think you are. You are as great as you think you are. Just believe that you are that. Yeah. Verse or quote that keeps you going. Mark 11:24, that's one. And Philippians 4 verse 6. Mark 11:24 says, whatsoever thing that you ask for when you pray, believe that you have it and you shall receive it. And Philippians 4 verse 6 says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything with prayer and supplication, make your requests be known to God, and the peace that surpasses all understanding will guide your heart. Then to top it off as a cherry on top, it's a Matthew 6 verse 33. Seek first the kingdom of God and all its righteousness, and all these things will be added unto ya. You get it? So those are my foundational scriptures, definitely. Lastly, how do you navigate challenges while keeping your faith strong? Oh, that's beautiful. I said in a video that we did for Faith Foundations, it was last week, and we said sometimes you have to pray to be in God's presence. And it happens a lot of times that when you start complaining, when you start sort of doubting, that means you've gotten out of the presence of God. And I still remember I did exactly that my arm is out of the presence of God because it's a circle. If I'm out of that presence of God, it's easy for me to feel like now I'm depressed, to feel like now I'm sad. Things are not adding up. My family doesn't love me. And if I come back, so immediately me realizing that I'm out of the presence of God, that's why I'm complaining and seeing problems, I need to quickly come back. One, I need to understand that I have to come back into the presence of God. Or two, I have to pray to God to say, Lord, help me stay in your presence. Because that's the only way that you can stay in the presence. That's the only way you can stay upbeat with whatever that's going on. Any problems that may be going on in your life, the moment you keep on praying, Lord, help me stay in your presence, you're going to see more solutions than problems. You're going to see more opportunities than distractions. That kind of vibe. So that's how I navigate myself. And I'm not saying this because I don't get stressed. My wife will tell you that I'm the master of stressing. To a point that she even gets angry. Like, dude, you've got it all figured out. God has got you. Why are you stressing? But, well, it is what it is. That's who I am. Right? But it's not something to be proud of that I'm a stressor. I am a stressor, mate. No, I'm not. So that's how I navigate all the stressful moments, by praying to God that help me stay in your presence. Folks, that has been an amazing episode. I believe that you got relevance from what we just spoke about. And before I leave you, remember, before you leave, liking, sharing, subscribing, those are the things that are free but help us as well grow. The join button is there to help us with finances to make sure that we upgrade our equipment. By the time that this episode airs, maybe that light is no longer the best light that we can get, and the other one costs double that price. Maybe this camera that we're using on the phone is backdated. I need an iPhone 16 Pro Max. So we need to move from this. Maybe the mixers that we're using, we need to move to Rode. Maybe the microphones that we're using, we need to move to SM7Bs. You understand? So there is so much that needs to be worked on. We even took our son's bedroom to make it a studio. He needs his room back. So all those things, when you join, that's how you help us. As we bring content to you like this, you are also getting something out of it. We are also getting something out of it. Advertising from us here, it helps us again. For an amount, you help us to keep on with the lights on. And in return, you are also getting your brand awareness out there. People are knowing about your brand. People are knowing about your event. That's why we then replace this part that is saying support the channel with your company logos, your company themes, and I'll do all the designs. If you've got your own graphic designer, just send them to me, then we paste them on the videos. That's how we help each other. This is how this life is going to be about, and that's the balance that we're looking for. I love you guys. Hope it's a very good Valentine's. Take that girl out for dinner, buy a chocolate, or anything that you want to do. I love you guys. We'll see you guys on the other side. Stay safe. Keep believing. You are as good as you think you are. I love you, but I love Pumza more. Cheers, Ona.